When I first began practicing Islamic arts and the traditional arts, I feel like the inspiration really came from the old masters and their manuscripts and their miniatures, and they were just so beautifully and skillfully executed that I just wanted to learn more and more. And as I understood the art on a deeper level, the source of the inspiration became understanding that this art was a really spiritual form of art which embodied what Islam meant. It was about harmony and balance, but through lines and shapes and through seeing God in every aspect of the natural world, the trees, the flowers, the clouds and the rivers, it just gave me a whole new love for the work, and I wanted to be able to practice it because I felt like this is the language that I can speak, the visual language. This is the way that I can express myself. My name is Mobeen Akhtar and I live in London with my family. I have 3 children and I've been practicing art for the past 10 years now, and the art that I practice is traditional Islamic art, and we have Persian miniatures, Mughal miniatures that come in as well. But I was inspired by this work around 10 or 11 years ago when I was looking for something to do because my daughter was just born at that time. And I really was thinking, okay, I'm going to go back to work maybe. She's my 3rd child, and I didn't want to go back to an office job. My passion had always been in art, and I was searching for something creative, and I found geometry, and I found Islami, and I found calligraphy. But I started practicing a few of these things. But the one thing that really stuck with me was the geometry and the Islami, which is the floral sort of motifs and the patterns. And the thing that really linked me to that art was being connected to my faith. And it gave me a sense of a deeper understanding and connection to my faith through art, through working with the geometry especially. Because when you work with geometry, it's the way they explain it is that the pattern always starts at the center and nothing begins without that central point, and all of the patterns and the geometric elements that expand from it expand from that central point. So for me, and the way it's described is there is nothing that can exist without that point of creation, which is Allah Himself. So that is the thing that led me onto the path, but kept me going down this path. And I just kept finding more and more and more things that kept me staying there. I couldn't let go of it. So it just evolved from there, and from there on, it's been, yeah, like I said, 10 or 11 years now. And it's been really good, alhamdulillah. the way that I found my path to art and where did I begin, I would actually say that I started creating when I was very young. So if you ask anybody in my family, they all know that I was always making or painting or drawing something or another. I did want to continue that through my studies, but I didn't. I went down a completely different route and I did medical biology. And I don't regret it, to be honest, because I feel like your life is a journey. We do lots of different things in life, and I do feel that if I studied art in my younger years, I wouldn't be studying the kind of art that I'm studying now or that I'm practicing right now, which is the more traditional arts. And I would say that the way that I discovered the work was because of the need to now want to do something for myself. After having 3 children, I had dedicated my life to them. I didn't go back to work. I wanted to give them my undivided attention, and I was able to do that, thankfully. I enjoy going out to the forest with my kids. Actually, I enjoy going out and just going for a walk, and they'll always they explore a lot, so they always like to rummage around. I mean, they're a lot older now, but they'll still do it because they've been doing it from a young age, and I used to enjoy it when I was younger. So just being outside with them is I really enjoy it. The other thing I really enjoy is it's always to do with being outdoors, but somewhere natural, somewhere where there's just a bit peace and calm and away from hustle and bustle, even though I live in London, which is all hustle and bustle. I love that part as well, but if I was to go somewhere which brought me a bit of peace, then it would definitely be with the trees, or with my hens in the garden, or gardening on my own. When it's summer, when the weather is good, I will go to the woods and I'll draw trees and I'll sketch whatever I can see there. Flowers, because I use them a lot in my work anyway, so it helps me to go out and have a look at them and then sketch them. And drawing and sketching on a regular basis is good anyway because it keeps your hand moving, but being outside of the studio is really good because I can't sketch. I don't normally sketch in the studio. I'm never in the studio to sketch. The only time I come in here is when I know what I'm doing. If I come in here and I don't know what I'm doing, it feels really, sometimes it feels frustrating because I'm like, okay, I'm here, I'm in my creative space, but I have no ideas, I have nothing right now. So most of the time the sketching and any idea aspect will be either outside of the house or in a different part of my house. Sometimes even if I'm in the garden, but this is during the summer. And it's normally when, normally during the day if I don't have anybody else with me. If my children are with me and we are going for a walk in the forest, if there's an area where I can sit and I know that they're there somewhere, then I can sketch easily, and they're quite used to it as well. So. And then to be able to channel all of those feelings into a piece of work. And for me, many times in my work, that is to do with my connection with God. Where am I with my faith? How am I doing? Also, why am I here? What am I contributing to this world? And that's always been a big issue for me, that even though I have decided to do art, you know, it's something that I do behind closed doors in my studio. I'm not with anybody, I'm not conversing with anyone. So what is it that I'm actually contributing really? I'm you know, using all this effort and this time and this energy within these walls, and I don't want it to stay inside this wall, and I don't want it to just have no effect on the world and on people and on myself. And I wanted it to be able to open conversations between people, maybe like-minded, maybe not like-minded. We've had plenty of exhibitions where I've made a piece of work and it's been hanging, and because I live in London and the exhibitions are open to everyone, people from all walks of life, not just people who are Muslims, people from all walks of life walk through that door into those galleries and have a look at your work, and they can feel it or they can connect with it. It doesn't matter who they are, but because I have created something on a human level, something that means something to me, that channels through the work and connects with somebody else, and then we talk, and it bridges any gaps, and it allows for people from different backgrounds to just connect. And I think we need more of that. We need more coming together right now, especially in this time. More people coming together, more people understanding that we are a lot more similar than different. And I think for my work to enable me to do that, to allow people to talk to one another, to allow me to channel my feelings, whatever they are, at whatever stage of my life. That's a really hard question, because every piece of work was a little journey. So it's when I look at the work that I've done, I always reconnect it to a time of my life that it reminds me of, oh yes, I did this work when this was happening, or I did this work when I was feeling like this. So the most memorable solace, it's a piece of work, maybe this one, I don't know. It's a piece of work which was inspired by the clouds and the water that you see in Persian miniatures. And it has a tiny little bird that is flying out of turbulent water and turbulent clouds, and it's flying towards a light source. And it's just, the bird's just got away from this really difficult time in its life, and it's found solace. And it's the work that when I look at it, it always still gives me a bit of like, yes, the bird's free. But it doesn't relate to anything that I went through a difficult time. It's just a feeling that I had at a point in time. Are there is there any symbolism in my work that carry deep meaning for me? I think that's most of my work. I do write about my work as well afterwards. Initially I won't write about my work. It will just be the hidden symbolism, which is always to do with something that I'm going through in life, or something that I want to talk about, something that I want to discuss. So I always say that I want to create something visually pleasing, so people see it and they think, wow, that's beautiful, and it draws them in. They want to come and have a look. And then when they come closer, they start understanding what the meaning behind the work is. Maybe sometimes they won't, because it won't be there to explain. That's why I started writing about my work in some format, just a little bit of sort of an insight into what the work means. It's a feeling of mine, especially like I said, in this current world where there's too much divide, and that work is all about unity, and it's called Garden of Union. And the birds also have their wings over their eyes to say they're not looking with their eyes, they're looking with their hearts, they're connecting with their hearts. So they don't see the differences. You're not looking at people's differences and their visual differences or anything like that. You're just connecting in another way. And we need to, this piece of work again highlights how nature is so good at this. When we walk around in the natural world and you actually try to understand what's going on in this natural world, and you understand what it is underneath us, for example, the network of roots that are underneath us, of those trees, that are working together to sustain the whole ecosystem. They're not working against each other. We always hear about survival of the fittest in the natural world. But I always say, no, I deeply, deeply feel, and as so many others do, that the natural world works together, regardless of who they are. They're a tree, they're a small flower, they're a bee, they're whatever they are. They're working, yes, to survive, but they work in balance. And I think we're losing that. And my work is a lot about the unity, the balance, harmony, and looking after one another as we see in the natural world. And that's how it thrives, and that's how we could thrive more with our communities if we stopped looking at our differences all the time. So in terms of the kind of technique that I use in my work, I do use traditional techniques, and I think that is the main focal point of the way that I do my work is with the traditional techniques. And I enjoy using the traditional techniques because, number one, I want to keep them alive. I want people to view them now and understand them and be intrigued by them, and want to do it themselves as well, so that they can then keep the traditional techniques alive. If we are not going to practice these traditional techniques, they will eventually leave us with the people that have been practicing them. There are different styles of Islamic art, and the way that they've inspired my work, I would say that I haven't taken one style of Islamic art or one region and taken that to be inspired by. I think it's a broad thing. I've been inspired by, or could be inspired by, from any region, from any place, any country. That style of art I'd be inspired by. Just if it's something that you connect to, it ends up finding a way into my work. So there was a time when, and I think I would still say now as well, Turkish art. So I visited Istanbul, and I was just absolutely in awe of all the Turkish tiles, the Iznik tiles. And I visited a museum there as well, where I got to see the magnificent Quran folios, the frontispiece pieces, and the level of detail was, especially seeing something like that in person, incredible level of detail. And I just wanted to be able, that inspired me greatly, the technique and the accuracy and the minute detail in the work was something that I did definitely take away, and I always endeavour to try and work in as much detail as possible. People look at it and think, like my sister and my family, they always say, how have you got the patience to do this? And I love seeing the end result. So I go through that whole process of, I mean, my fingers sometimes get really tired or rough because I'm holding the paintbrush so tight and so, precisely. But to be able to get that end result, I know I have to go through this journey. So you have to love the process if you want to see the end result. So being inspired by, definitely in that time, it was Turkish arts a lot. And as I have said already, that Persian miniatures really inspired us with Iran. So, from that region, work inspired me. My work has been inspired by that a lot. So it may be something. Maybe I feel if I have visited a place and seen it with my own eyes, that's when I'm more likely to be inspired by it, because I'm right there with it and I've connected with it on like a personal level. But there's always inspiration online, there's inspiration in books, but I feel like I connect more when I'm there with the work, or I've been surrounded by that kind of work. So then inspiration seems to stick more. So Islamic art and the traditional arts, for me, the way that it's probably intertwined with other parts of me, when I think about on a deeper level, would be a continuous sort of renewing or reminding me of my connection with my faith. I am practicing traditional techniques and work that is inspired by Islamic art, and I don't want that element to die. I do want it to stay there. Because I'm practicing such a sort of prestigious and important art form, I'm always reminded of that respect that I need to give to it. And I'm always careful with how I make my work as well. So bringing in animated things, for example, I do paint birds, but I will never paint their eyes, because I have been told this, that if you draw the eye, you breathe life into the creature. So I try to refrain. So it informs my work a lot, because I want to not disrespect the arts in any way. And I don't want to just create work that doesn't sort of tie back or link back or remind us of the traditional arts and where it came from. So, yeah. I feel blessed that I can do this work, because I know that not everybody is able to, take time out to make this kind of work. I have to thank my family, because at every step of the way, when I doubted myself and I thought, what am I doing? Should I be doing this? Shall I just get a job? Am I wasting my time? And my husband would say time and time again, no, just keep going. Just keep going, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't think about anything else. You have a passion for this, and just keep moving along this path. Even sometimes when I feel like am I failing, they reassure me and they say, no, carry on going. And I just feel like being able to practice this and being able to share, being able to communicate with the world through visual concepts like this, and being able to sit there in my room, in my comfort, alhamdulillah, and just paint meaningful work. And that's what I want to do. I really want to paint meaningful work that has deep thought behind it, that is going to go out in the world and have an impact. Even if it's one person it has an impact on, because that one person will speak to another person, will speak to another person, and it will just continue. And I want to spread positivity, and I want to touch people on that kind of a level and just keep a ripple of positivity going. I want this work to have a good effect out there, and I pray and I pray and I pray that Allah can give me that guidance that I need to keep doing that, or beginning doing that. I don't know, have I started doing it yet or not?